Namaskar and a very good morning. I'm Swati Joshi and you're watching our special broadcast from Amchi, Mumbai. It's voting day in Maharashtra for 29 municipal corporations and one of them is the BMC, which is the richest civic body in India. So the battle intensified. We saw the war of words. It's all now come down to the voters who are going to exercise their right to choose who they want to rule BMC. The voting is currently underway as we speak. This election is the most fragmented and perhaps the most exciting that Mumbai and Maharashtra has ever witnessed. Also the first one post the split of the Sena and NCP. The state elections concluded with the Mahayuti sweeping Maharashtra. It was a historic mandate that the Mahayuti received. But when it comes to Mumbai, it all boils down to the Marathi pride, the Marathi Asmita that has been revived by the Thakre brothers who are back again. But BJP very keenly and closely eyeing the non-Marathi vote bank, which has a huge strong presence in Mumbai. There's also the Muslim community, which constitutes about 20% in BMC, and they remember voted last time during the assembly elections for the Uddhav Thackeray faction. Will they continue to do that during the BMC election this year? Remains to be seen. Let me go across to our reporters who are going to get us all the updates about the voting, about the celebrities, the early voters, the netas who are coming to the polling booths for elections, for the BMC elections. We have Arunil joining us from Bandra. He's tracking the Uddhav Thackeray family, and Rucha is going to tell us all about the Thane Municipal Corporation elections. Let me first go across to Arunil. Arunil, the Thackeray brothers are back together and they will of course revive the Marathi Asmita, the Marathi pride issue, because the Shiv Sena, the undivided Shiv Sena, was founded on those very principles. So they are very keenly eyeing that. Raj Thackeray even went on to the extent of saying that this is the last election for the Marathi Manus.
Well, certainly, yes. When Raj Thackeray said that this is the last final frontier for the Marathi Manus, the Marathi pride, immediately a reaction came in from Devendra Fadnavis as well, saying that this is not the last battle for the Marathi Manus, but it is going to be a last battle for the Thackerays. This is about their political relevance, and that is why they have been trying to lure the Marathi vote bank with such kind of emotional speeches. Now, at present, Swati, I am reporting from Sahitya Savas. This is the place where Uddhav Thackeray will be coming here with his family, Aditya Thackeray, as well as his entire family, to come here to cast his vote. Another interesting aspect about this building is this is the building where the great Sachin Tendulkar basically grew up during his childhood days as well. Now, coming to your question as well, the M2 factor or the Mamu factor that has been spoken about in Mumbai politics is again going to hold much of a significance. Whether the kind of an outreach that at least in the last 4 days the Thackerays have made after their Sabha in Shivaji Park and subsequently a Sabha in Thane as well, considered to be a stronghold of Eknath Shinde, whether the Marathi Manus is going to consolidately vote for the Thackerays, that is again going to be a big question that arises. Whether Muslims are again going to stand behind the Thackerays, because we have seen some time back only Raj Thackeray had basically donned the Hindutva color. He had clearly attacked the Muslims with his loudspeaker speeches as well, anti-loudspeaker speeches related to Azan. Whether that is going to resonate in the minds of the Muslim voters, whether they are going to stand behind the Congress party, which again is going with Vanchit, that is Prakash Ambedkar's party. Interesting developments clearly basically shaping up in Mumbai. The Devendra Fadnavis factor is also extremely important, because in this election we have not seen PM Modi, Absolutely. Home Minister Amit Shah coming here and campaigning. Now, why that is important? And what you're saying, Arunil, is something that Sanjay Raut picked up. Something that Sena UBT's mouthpiece has picked up as well to attack the Mahayuti. That's our breaking news that we are getting for our viewers. Arunil and Rucha, stay on with us. So, Sena UBT mouthpiece has attacked Mahayuti and has questioned the absence of the star campaigners, has questioned the absence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Amit Shah and Yogi Adityanath. The mouthpiece of UBT believes that these stalwarts, these tall leaders of the Bharatiya Janata Party stayed away from BMC polls because as per Sena UBT,
the Mahayuti that was during the assembly election, which of course, as far as the BMC election goes, at the moment, BJP, Shiv Sena, Shinde Sena contesting together are going to lose. That's what the Sena UBT says. That's the editorial. That this is a battle of survival for Marathi Manus, and Prime Minister, Home Minister know they are losing. That's why they have stayed away from the polls. Let me go across to Rucha for more on that. Rucha, you're tracking Thane, which is the bastion of Eknath Shinde. They are more popular there, one would say, if you compare their popularity to the Uddhav Sena in Mumbai. But Sena UBT says the tall leaders of the BJP stayed away from campaigning for BMC because they know that they are going to lose.
Well, clearly in Thane, the dynamics are completely different than we see in Mumbai. Mumbai city is focusing more on the Marathi Manus factor. The Thakres have fully focused on Mumbai city and on the Marathi pride. But in Thane, there is a lot of population of Marathi Manus comparing the Mumbai city, but issues here are completely different. Voters here are fully focusing on the development promises, on the infrastructure that they have been seeing several years. And in Thane as well, like the Mumbai Municipal Corporation, it is Shiv Sena party, the undivided Shiv Sena party, which has always ruled the Thane Municipal Corporations. In fact, since its establishment, it was Eknath Shinde's party who has had the stronghold on Thane, and now ever since Eknath Shinde was Chief Minister of Maharashtra, we have seen how he has promised several things to the Thanekars, and most of the projects are completed, but the issues of traffic congestion, water supply remain consistent. And currently we are at one of the booths in Vartak Nagar, where the voters are making sure that
for the civic polls, yes, Rucha, the civic issues seem to have taken a backseat. The entire politics, the war of words, the statements, they were confined to the identity politics. And talking about the Mumbai zone, what we witnessed in the recently concluded state assembly elections for Maharashtra was that BJP swept the Mumbai zone. After BJP, it was the Shiv Sena UBT that had the second highest vote share, and the third party in terms of vote share and seats as well was the Shinde Sena. And that's why I say that the Shinde Sena is more popular in the Thane area, which is the bastion of Eknath Shinde, than Mumbai itself. Let me go across to political strategist Devishri Sriram joining us on the broadcast. Good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us. Let me pick up from where Rucha left. The editorial of the Sena UBT, the mouthpiece of Sena UBT, says that Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Yogi Adityanath and Amit Shah stayed away from the BMC polls because they know that they are going to lose. Now, as far as the civic polls are concerned, one would think it's only logical for the state leadership and the local leadership to head the campaign, to front the elections. But UBT believes otherwise.
Good morning, Swati. I think, what BJP had done is right, because you fight municipal election on local issues. You fight with a strong leader in Devendra Fadnavis batting up front. And most unfortunately, while BJP and Shiv Sena Eknath Shinde faction have been talking about Atal Setu corridor, has been talking about metro, has been talking about airport, has been talking about civic issues, Shiv Sena, unfortunately, had to raise the Marathi Manus issue. And this is an emotional card, but I don't think that is going to, there's a right narrative when you're fighting, an election where the corporation, which is the Asia's largest, it's not just India's largest or the financially highest, it's Asia's highest financial budget, which has got in BMC. And they've got a lot of issues. And Shiv Sena has been ruling BMC for a very long time. If I'm right, for almost 2 decades, they've been ruling the BMC. And we know pretty well that the infrastructure
required to be exact.
Yeah. Quarter of a century they've been ruling. So I would say that, what is required is, fixing up infrastructure, and more importantly, fixing the civic issues, making it a world-class city. Mumbai is the driver of Indian economy. If India has to become, say, 5 trillion, 8 trillion, 10 trillion economy, and that has to be driven by Mumbai. Mumbai is the engine which has to take it forward. And I do hope that the Mumbaikars come out and vote today, and vote for a local governance which is going to work in tandem with the central government and the state government. And I do hope that. But at the same time, we also need to understand that Maga Vikas
So you are hoping for a triple engine ki sarkar. But you know, when you say that the Thakres are reviving the Marathi Manus issue or focusing more on that, you know, it's very simple because BJP is also riding high, not just on the fact that they won the assembly elections, but they are also eyeing the non-Marathi votes in Mumbai. And if you look at the breakup, then 11% constitute the South Indian community. If you talk about people from Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, the North Indian community, they are anywhere around 20 to 22%. And then you have the Muslims as well who constitute 20%. So the BJP clearly eyeing the non-Marathis and the non-Muslims as well. And that's the reason why the Thakres, I believe, had to revive the entire Marathi Manus issue. Let me quickly go back to Amita, who is with us on the broadcast, and she's joining us with more details on the elections.
Yes, because we're going to go back in time and talk about what had really happened during the BMC elections that was held in 2017. A considerable amount of time has now gone by. And we talk about when it comes to Shiv Sena then, which has controlled the city's civic body since 1985, was nearly dethroned by the BJP. The undivided Sena that won nearly 84 seats that we are looking at, and the BJP backing nearly 82 seats. And due to neither party winning an outright majority in the 227-seat corporation, they had to strike an uneasy bargain, with the BJP allowing the Sena to retain the mayor's post. However, since when it comes to the disintegration of the original coalition and the split in the Shiv Sena, the BJP is aiming to finally break through Sena's power center and to install Mumbai's first BJP mayor. However, when it comes to the other parties there, which form the Mahaghas Vighadi, and we are now looking at what? The Congress Party 31, the NCP 9, the MNS at 7, others as 14. And this seems to be, as far as Mumbai's fight for prestige is concerned. 2017 is when the last elections happened. And now what we are looking at, that the polling is underway in not just in India's but Asia's richest civic body. All right, Swati, back to you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, the voting is underway for 29 municipal corporations in Maharashtra, and BMC is one of them. As the voting takes place, there are some controversies coming to fore as well. We have breaking inputs coming in. This is what we're given to understand, that BJP party workers allegedly were seen distributing mixers just before the BMC polls, and this happened in ward number 3. We're given to understand that the Congress has raised objection. This after a video surfaced. Congress leaders demanded action against those involved. But the Congress is alleging that instead of taking action, the police officials have detained Congress leaders. Let me go across to Arunil for more on that. Arunil, as the voting begins, there are some controversies coming to fore as well. Congress alleges that BJP leaders were found distributing kitchen items to the voters.
Well, that is right. Basically, the Congress is alleging that the BJP workers were distributing kitchen items to lure the voters. Last night as well, several such visuals were sent in, particularly by the UBT Sena, accusing the rival Eknath Shinde Shiv Sena, saying that distribution of money is been taking place in several other places as well. Now, Swati, one interesting aspect that I would like to add on what you exactly were saying. You were saying that the North Indian voters as well as the Gujarati voters predominantly are expected to vote for the Mahayuti. But if you look at the demographics of Mumbai, it is the Marathi vote that is segregated. That is across different parts of Mumbai, be it south, be it central, be it the north central as well. It is the North Indian voter that is concentrated only in the northwest belt. So how much of an impact will that vote bank make in the other areas of Mumbai? That again is going to be an interesting aspect. The Thakres clearly are banking on the square factor or the Mamu factor, that is the Marathi vote bank and the Muslim vote bank. Wherever the Muslim vote bank is extremely strong, the Muslims will feel that they can select a Muslim candidate. It is expected the Congress or the Samajwadi Party will do well over there. But the other areas are going to be very, very crucial. In 2017 as well, it was Uddhav Thackere's Shiv Sena or the United Shiv Sena which won 84 seats, and the BJP was closely following on the 82 seats. The entire narrative was started by the Mahayuti. It was the Hindutva narrative that they played on, accusing Uddhav Thackeray that he has compromised on Hindutva and has been indulging in the appeasement politics. So it is going to be a battle of narratives as well. The Hindutva narrative that has been set by the Mahayuti and the recent Marathi Manus narrative that the Thackeray's are trying to cash out to as well. It is also a battle of basically a kind of a credit war that has been taking place between Uddhav Thackeray's party and BJP particularly.
Absolutely.
Uddhav Thackeray's party is saying that you are blaming us
And
for...
the BJP also clearly realizes that the Thackeray brothers are going to play on the Marathi Asmita pitch, and that's why we heard Devendra Fadnavis, other tall leaders of the BJP saying that the mayor will be a Hindu, the mayor will be a Maharashtrian. So while they are wooing the North Indian vote bank and the Gujarati vote bank, they very clearly know that it's difficult to gain the trust of the Marathi community if you don't talk about them, which constitutes anywhere between 25 to 30%. That's the reason why even the BJP is playing that card. Arunil, Rucha, stay on with us. JVC continues to be with us. We have some breaking inputs coming in. You know, the war of words only continues to intensify. Sanjay Raut and Raj Thackeray highlighting discrepancies already. Reactions came in earlier when Raj Thackeray also warned that if bogus voting takes place, then consequences will be there. Let's listen to some reactions.
बोगस वोटर्स को हम ठोक देंगे. हमारा सब जगह पर हमारा जो पथक है शिवसेना और महाराष्ट्र नवनिर्माण सेना के लोगों का 5000 लोग हमने तैयार किए हैं. जहां भी बोगस वोटर आएगा, डुप्लीकेट वोटर आएगा, तो हमको खबर करनी है. वो सब हमने दे दिया है जगह जगह पे. तो हमारे लोग आएंगे, हमारे लोग उनको जहां है वहां उनकी धुलाई करेंगे.
Well, that is something that we have witnessed, the dhamki politics. And Sanjay Raut says, agar bogus voter aayega, to usko thok denge, something that Raj Thackeray also reiterated. Nilesh also joins us in the broadcast. Nilesh, before I come to you, let me quickly go across to JVC. JVC, political parties don't disappear overnight after one election. But there are many who say that if the Thackeray brothers fail to gain the trust of the Marathi vote bank, then it will be end game for Thackeray brothers. Do you believe that?
I don't think so, Swati. I don't think, you can write obituary for any political party because we have seen many political parties make a comeback. In fact, as far as SSUBT is concerned, in the 2024 assembly elections, they performed pretty well in Mumbai. In fact, in other areas only they struggled. In Mumbai, they performed. And I really believe that it's not UBT. You can't write the obituary for them. Probably, yes, they would find it difficult to, make themselves relevant because the next election is going to be held only in 2029 Lok Sabha. Because till that point in time, Maharashtra is not going to face any election because you have a very stable state government and now all the municipalities will have their own governance. As a result of which, doing politics may be difficult for Uddhav Thackeray. But writing off and writing an obituary for him would be too early. And I really believe, Swati, 30 to 35% of Marathi voters would be voting for Mahayuti. Because it's not that the entire Marathi Manus would be voting entirely for Shivsena, UBT and MNS is something which I'm not willing to believe. Because this is my theory that the Muslims are not going to vote en masse for UBT because there is going to be Samajwadi Party, there is going to be Congress, there is going to be MIM and there is going to be Muslim candidates too. So it's not going to be that narrative where Muslims will vote en bloc to UBT, Marathis will vote en bloc to UBT. That is not going to happen. And that's what probably we're going to see tomorrow morning.
All right, JVC, let me also quickly go across to Nilesh. Nilesh, I want to talk about Raj Thackeray. I want to talk about Maharashtra Navnirman Sela as well. A lot of flip-flops is what we have witnessed. Of course, the elections in Mumbai, the BMC elections are happening after 8 years. But Raj Thackeray has changed his stand quite some time ago. When, first he supported the BJP and then he said there should be a BJP Mukt Bharat or a BJP Mukt Maharashtra. Now that is back with Uddhav Thackeray. He is once again targeting the Bharatiya Janata Party. So his stands have kept changing. Will the voters see through that? Or when it comes to BMC, it's about Marathi Asmita and Marathi pride. The voters will forget how many times Raj Thackeray has changed his stand.
Well, yes, indeed, that is an interesting aspect that the Marathi Manus will be looking out for. Though it is also a factor that Raj Thackeray is known as a crowd puller. If we have seen his rallies in the past as well, a huge number of individuals reach out to hear him because he is considered as a good orator. However, that percentage of individuals reaching out to hear him did not turn out to be his voter at multiple occasions, be it assembly elections, Lok Sabha elections, or the recently held municipal corporation election as well. But will that be a factor in as far as Mumbai is concerned? We'll have to look out for that as well. But Raj Thackeray has been constantly raising out issue of Marathi Manus and Marathi pride. He happens to be turning violent at certain moments as well, and all of those factors will be considered by the voters as well. It is clear cut that the North Indians or the non-Marathi speaker are not with Raj Thackeray, but the Marathi share is also again divided among the BJP, the NCP and other various alliance partnership as well. The Congress is also an option for them. So division of vote will be...
That's the case with the Marathi vote bank as well, or the Muslim vote bank as well, just like how JVC was explaining. I want to bring in Arunil as well into the debate now. Arunil, when you talk about the Shinde Sena, and I've been saying this, they're more popular in the Thane belt. We saw a reflection of that in the last state assembly elections as well. When you talk only about the Mumbai zone, will it be a repeat of that performance? Of course, the Shinde Sena will try to better their performance than what was witnessed during the state assembly elections. But how will this pan out for the Shinde Sena? And you know, when the undivided Shiv Sena was founded, it was on the basis of the Marathi Asmita and pride. We have seen targeted attacks by the Maharashtra Navnirman Sena on the North Indians, and the recent reaction, the comment that came in from Raj Thackeray against Annamalai, where he once again revived the controversial Lungi Utao slogan. So how does that play out in favor of the Shinde Sena?
Well, the Annamalai factor clearly reverberated or resonated with the Marathi vote bank, at least those who had gathered there in large numbers at Shivaji Park. But it has a counter repercussion as well, because Raj Thackeray made this statement. It can basically go against the South Indian vote bank as well. The South Indian voters who are predominantly in Matunga, Dharavi, they can go against the Thackeray family, because in Dharavi as well, the MP. Basically, the MP is Anil Desai, again a leader from the Uddhav Thackre's Shiv Sena, who had beaten Rahul Shewale from the Shinde Sena. Then a kind of a credit war has also developed, Swati. Basically, what Eknath Shinde has been banking primarily is on the infrastructure development that happened, according to him, when he the chief minister. And Devendra Fadnavis is also trying to bank on the infrastructure development, saying that metro was initiated by them. The coastal road happened during their regime. Devendra Fadnavis also said that it was Uddhav Thackre's party that heavily opposed the metro project, a metro car shed in RA, whereas the Aditya Thackeray or Uddhav Thackeray have been showing pictures that they were the ones who inaugurated the very crucial coastal road that connects the ceiling, Bandra Valley ceiling, to South Mumbai. It has made life extremely easy to commute in South Mumbai, particularly. Anybody who wants to travel from Bandra to South Mumbai, it has become extremely easy on that front as well. Now, coming to Shinde Sena as well, or Eknath Shinde, their issues, they're not the talking point on the ground. That is clearly there. But they have their strong leaders over here. Eknath Shinde has his MLAs on the ground, who won in the recently held Maharashtra state elections. They have won because of some kind of a muscle power that they have on the ground. Now, whether that muscle power is going to again make an impact in the minds of the Marathi voters, because that time Raj Thackeray was separate. He was constantly attacking Uddhav Thackeray in the state elections. This time the Thackeray
brothers are together. That's a very important point that you're making. Now that the Thackeray brothers are together, will that have an impact? And you know what you were saying, Arunil, about the credit race, well, that's just politics. If everything works out, then take credit. If things don't work out, call it a legacy issue and blame it on the opponent. I want to quickly go back to Amita, who's joining us with more details on other factors related to the BMC elections.
Absolutely, because this is election, Swati. Anything and anything really can happen. Anybody, friends turn foes, foes turn friends, and this is the possibility that we are looking at during the BMC elections there. Although it's a civic body election, but the stakes are super high. Why is that? Because the election is being closely watched as more than just a civic contest. BMC being the richest municipal body that controls, it carries over enormous political and administrative influence for several parties. The outcome will determine political relevance, their identity, and the future survival in Mumbai. So the election there to the richest civic body that we are looking at in Asia, the first test that is since the landslide 2024 mandate, and the first BMC election since Sena and the NCP, the parties that split. And this has now been seen as a bellwether for the state and the country, and often signals the trends in national politics. Also, as far as the Thakre brothers are concerned, this is going to come across as a litmus test. So Mumbai being the financial capital of the country, and it is the key governing body, the BMC, which manages to oversee infrastructure, to health, to roads, to water supply, to transport, to even power supply and sanitation. And the BMC election is not just a civic battle, but it is a battle for Mumbai's money, machinery and political momentum. Let's get you the live reactions.
आणि मला असं वाटतं की शेवटी पुणेकर हे खूप विचार करून मतदान करतात. पुणेकर हे सुज्ञ आहेत, पुणेकर हे जाणकार आहेत, आणि म्हणून कुठल्याही टीका टिप्पणी खालच्या स्तरावरती जाऊन काही ठिकाणी झाल्या सोशल मीडिया राष्ट्रवादीवाल्यांचे पालकमंत्री सोशल मीडिया टीमनं नको त्या
very sound with respect to their voting mechanism
केला. सामदाम दंड भेद सगळं जसं
understanding voting dynamics is key for them.
वापर झाला. मला वाटतं पुणेकर त्याला आज मतपेटीतून त्या या सगळ्या
basically how muscle power, several criminals being given seats, everything has happened with respect to Pune elections. That also voters will consider.
समोर ठेवलं की जे 2014 पासून
the work that we have done in front of Punekars.
त्यांच्या नेतृत्वात सरकारने जे काम पुण्यासाठी केलं, देवेंद्रजी मुख्यमंत्री असताना पुण्यासाठीचे अनेक प्रकल्प अनेक योजना आल्या, आणि महापालिकेमध्ये 5 वर्ष जे काय
when Devendra Fadnavis was the CM, the kind of development projects, infrastructure projects that have been initiated or brought to light in Pune will certainly have an impact in the voters' mind.
समान पाणी पुरवठा योजना पूर्णत्वाकडे आली, जायका प्रकल्प पूर्ण होतोय, चांदणी चौक, कात्रज चौकासारख्या दक्षिण पुणे आणि पश्चिम पुण्याच्या वाहतुकीचा प्रवेशद्वाराच्या वाहतुकीचा प्रश्न सुटतोय. PMPMLच्या बसेसमध्ये 1200 ते 1500 नवीन बसेस, अशी असंख्य कामं आमची मागच्या जर विचार केला तर पुणेकरांनी पाहिलंय. आणि म्हणून मला विश्वास आहे की पुणेकर हे विकासाला, प्रगतीला आणि या शहरात
seen several development and infrastructure projects that we have brought for the city.
ते निश्चितपणे कोणाच्या हातात सुरक्षित आहे? मोदीजींच्या नेतृत्वातील
they also consider the future generations, their future as well.
पुणेकर जाणतात म्हणून
the coming generations future.
120 ते 125 जो काही मी शहरभरात सगळ्या भागामध्ये जो काही फिरलोय, प्रचार झालाय, त्यामुळे मला विश्वास आहे की जो उदंड प्रतिसाद मिळत होता, पुणेकर ठिकठिकाणी जो
more than 120 we are eyeing in Pune.
पाहिलं तर मला असं वाटतं अत्यंत सकारात्मक वातावरण आहे. त्यामुळे पुणेकर निश्चितपणे आहे त्याच कारभाराच्या हातामध्ये कारभार करायला
very positive atmosphere for us, that is the BJP in Pune.
नक्की निवडून देते, आणि पुण्याचा महापौर हा भारतीय जनता पार्टीचा पुन्हा होईल.
BJP mayor again for Pune.
हे सगळं स्पष्ट होत चाललंय. पाठिंब्याची तर गरज सोडाच, मुळात तो विषयही नाही. पुणेकरांनी हे ठरवलेलं आहे की भारतीय जनता पार्टीचा महापौर होणार.
Punekars have decided that again the mayor will also be from BJP itself.
All right, so that was Union Minister Muralidhar Mohol. He was also the former mayor of Pune. He says BJP is confident that the next mayor will be from Bharatiya Janata Party. I want to go back to JVC. Pune reminds us how the fluid alliances are on the rise, where the NCP, SP and the NCP came together and also said that, this is just for Pimpri Chinchwad. But the fluid alliances are on a rise. If you look at the municipal corporations across Maharashtra, do alliances mean nothing? I mean, it's a little disappointing also, isn't it, for a voter that nobody is talking talking about the civic issues, when the voters are waiting to hear if the roads in Mumbai are going to be pothole free, if there'll be no water logging in the next monsoon season, nobody seems to be talking about that.
Swati, I think that is where the main issue is. That's what I started with. See, the whole thing of talking about Hindutva, Marathi pride in a civic poll is the most unfortunate thing, because what is needed is a clean Swachh Bharat, Swachh Maharashtra, Swachh cities. What is required is potholes, free roads, and more importantly, every time monsoon hits Mumbai, we know the kind of struggles which the Mumbaikars go through. So the most unfortunate thing in this election narrative has been that instead of talking about these pressing issues, parties have been talking about Hindutva, North-South divide. Then you have somebody coming and speaking something about Bombay and North, Marathi Manu pride. These are things where you fought a state election. These are civic issues. And I understand, the first question which you asked, Swati, I understand. Because the political dynamics of Maharashtra is such that ever since the split in Shiv Sena and the NCP, the entire configuration has been, probably disturbed. As a result of which, in every corporation, we are seeing different alliances coming into play. And that is the reason why I say, again, I reiterate, Swati, for the benefit of our viewers, Maga Vikas Agadi is not the Maga Vikas Agadi of 2024 in BMC. Congress is contesting separately. And there are 3 MLAs who are pretty strong MLAs. Malad, and then you have Dharavi, and then Mumbai. Congress has got 3 MLAs. As a result of which, Congress is not going to give minority votes on a platter to Shiv Sena, UBT and MNS. As a result of which, what I would say is that it is quite understandable that the alliances are being different in different corporations. In fact, it is confusing sometimes. Somewhere you find,
No, but is the Mahayuti the same? And I want to bring in Arunil. Is Mahayuti the same? Because Ajit Pawar, Arunil is contesting separately. We also saw the war of words between the allies, the BJP and Ajit Pawar, with allegations of corruption being leveled at him and him responding back.
Well, the khichdi politics that has been played out in Maharashtra, the mercurial politics, it is again extremely unfair for the voters as well. Because recently held Maharashtra state elections, Mahavikas Agadi, Congress and Uddhav Thackeray, Shiv Sena were a crucial alliance partners. Ajit Pawar stunningly or shockingly had joined the Mahayuti and had joined hands with Devendra Fadnavis. Now Ajit Pawar and Sharad Pawar are together. Now they are speaking, now it is the bonhomie between Ajit Pawar and Sharad Pawar in Pune as well as in Pimpri Chinchwad, and they are going head on against the BJP. It clearly confuses the voters as well. Now, coming to what one of our panelists was also saying, that how 3 of the MLAs of the Congress party are very strong, that there is no doubt about it. Aslam Sheikh from Malad, that is the Malwani area, Muslim predominant area, as well as that is then again Dharavi, Varsha Gaikwad's sister is an MLA from there, and also there is an MLA, Amin Patel from Mumbai Devi. All are Muslim areas. What has been predicted is that the Muslim dominated areas are expected to go with the Congress party or with the Samajwadi party. That is the case in Govandi, that is Abu Azmi's area. But the Muslims are segregated across Mumbai. Wherever, what the Mahayuti also feels is that probably the Muslims are going to vote for against the Mahayuti candidate, that against the BJP or Eknath Shinde's Shiv Sena. And where they feel that Uddhav Thackeray Shiv Sena is going to defeat them, they may go with Uddhav Thackeray Shiv Sena. But another interesting thing to look out for over here is Raj Thackeray recently had hit out at the Muslims. He had taken up the Azan loudspeaker issue. So whether the Muslims are openly rally behind Raj Thackeray, that is again a big point of question that will clearly come to the fore. We were speaking about North Indian vote bank as well. That is basically consolidated only in the Mumbai Northwest area. Gujarati voters are also consolidated in the Ghatkopar belt, Mulund belt, Kandivali belt, as well as the Malabar Hill belt, which is basically Mangal Prabhat Lora is the MLA from there. But they are not segregated across.
Well, as we speak, Arunil, Netas are stepping out, urging voters to step out in large numbers as well. visuals coming in of Mohan Bhagwat, RSS chief, who has cast his vote. Of course, it's too early to talk about the voter turnout, but I want to quickly go across to Nilesh. What does it mean? And help us break down the numbers, because the last elections happened 8 years back when the Shiv Sena was not divided, when the NCP was not divided. What does a large voter turnout, a huge voter turnout mean during the BMC elections? Nilesh.
Well, Swati, as you rightly pointed out, since 2017, a lot has changed in the politics of Maharashtra, and people of Maharashtra have seen it all up close. The making, the breaking, the changing chemistry, the alliances forming and breaking. It was the same Mahayuti and Mahavikas Aghadi who had different stance in assembly elections as well as Lok Sabha elections, but all of those stance are now changing for the local body elections. We saw how Shiv Sena Shinde faction joins hand with Congress, how BJP joined hands with Congress. So all of those arithmetic has been constantly changing. However, the issue also remains that will these be affecting the voters or not. We have been reporting since early morning hour here in Bandra West area. Voters are reaching out. They are turning out in huge number, more than 200 to 300 individuals, what we have understand, as far as in this polling booth have reached out, have casted their vote, and all of those voters have been raising that non-political parties have raised issue of civic apathy, which is the main problem of the city, and which is why it remains their primary concern to cast their vote to bring a change. Last recorded percentage was 54, but what we understand through the picture that it might increase. It should exceed above 54%. So that is also a good basis that the voters are sending. Bringing a change is what is there in their mood, stating that enough of politics. The rhetorics
since there are multiple factions, since there are two factions in the Shiv Sena, two factions of the NCP, what does it mean for the voters? Talking specifically about the Shinde Sena, when Eknath Shinde broke the Shiv Sena and became the chief minister, and now that he's not the chief minister, deputy chief minister, Thakres have used that as a big talking point, saying that Shinde has been sidelined by the BJP to hit out at the Bharatiya Janata Party. We'll discuss all of that, the dynamics. Let me quickly go across to Amita for more details.
Yes, because we're going to talk about taking a closer look as far as the key face-offs that are now shaping the BMC elections. Let's in the meantime take a look how comprehensive preparations and innovative monitoring systems are in place, and this election promises to be a pivotal moment in the city's governance there. So the face-offs that we are looking at as far as when it comes to the BJP versus Sena faction of the UBT faction, the BJP versus the MNS faction, the BJP versus the NCP-SP faction, Shiv Sena versus the Shiv Sena as we are looking at post the split that has now happened, Shiv Sena versus the MNS that we are looking at. This is the Shinde Sena that we are talking about, and the Shinde Sena versus the NCP Sharad Pawar party as well. So this is almost after more than 2 decades. Uddhav Thackeray, Raj Thackeray seen campaigning together on Mumbai soil, signaling a new phase for the opposition politics in BMC. The NCP's Ajit Pawar and Sharad Pawar factions also coming together mainly for the consolidation of their voter base in Pune, and national issues like illegal immigration, there is regional or religious identity, the Marathi Manus or the Hindutva politics, that seems to be also woven into the civic poll campaign, even though the actual issues are mainly local. So Swati, we have seen, when it comes to the political discourse that has now been witnessed, apart from the basic issues that is needed for the Janta of Mumbai, everything else is now being discussed.
Well, just one message that comes across when you talk about these alliances, these coming together of the NCP, NCP-SP or the Thackeray brothers is elections ke liye kuch bhi karega. But the voters of Mumbai and all the municipal corporations in Maharashtra want to know voters ke liye kya karega. On that note, I'm taking a very short break. Of course, our coverage continues. We'll keep on getting you every single update related to the municipal corporation elections across Maharashtra. The epicenter, of course, is in Mumbai, the BMC elections.